Okay, so let me go to the screen. Big time. So you can't. Oops. Let me quit this first, and then start QuickTime again. And all right. So it says secant of 55 degrees. Now the calculator, right? Let's go to Chrome. Let's show you a graphing calculator. And scientific calculus the same exact way. So if I go to calculator, wait, hold on a second. Where's my bookmark? Chrome. Oh, wait. Other bookmark? Okay, TI-84. So if I go to the TI-84, that just says okay, so let's do that. Sign in. The problem is, oh, let me see if I can do this. Left and where's my iPad? This one. Okay. So let's say if I ask you a secant of 55 degrees, and if you realize that there's no secant button, this could be an easiest AP exam question. I've seen it on the test practice test before. They just want you to look for the secant of 55 degrees. Don't ever think about this. Think about secant of theta is equal to 1 over sine of theta. Then you're gonna say it's, oh no, it's 1 over cosine, my fault. 1 over cosine theta, thank you. So 1 over cosine of 55 degrees. So you're gonna type in 1 divided, oops, not here. So 1 divided by cosine of 55 degrees. Now you gotta make sure you're mode because my calculator class, my calculus class is always use radian. So I see this radian is already there. You had to make sure that's in degree. And then depend on the question. So some questions is gonna be radian, some questions gonna be degrees, and you're gonna see that's a different answer. So this is equal to 1.743. Now if I were to use radian, it's gonna be completely different answer because that's 55 radian. And that'll be wrong because if you do this, and that'll be wrong. Okay, so it's definitely in degree mode. And then that's how you're gonna set up. Is that always degree? Not necessary. So let's just say if I want to know what is sine of pi over 3, sine of pi over 6. If I want a sine of pi over 6, that we know what is sine of pi over 6, by the way. That's gonna be 1/2, right? So you can actually type in pi over 6 here to check. And but if you type in right now and you press enter, because the calculator is not in radian mode, so come out the wrong answer. So if you go in, you say it's pi over 6 is radian. So you get to recognize when is radian, when's that. So sometimes you might be able to just get this half. So your radian and degree setting is so important for you guys to use. Okay, so make sure you have a correct things. Most of the time, if I'm looking for something, if they give me angle in degrees, then I'll use in degrees. If it's in terms of pi, more like in radians. Next question. Some people I see mistake on the first one, so I might just go over the first one. The first one is 9 and 12 and theta. And they say, what is sine of theta? Well, this is a 15 using, like Jesus got 15, but you want to know sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So it'd be 9 over 15. Jesus, does that make sense? So that's going to be 3 over 5. Now cosine of theta, that is going to be 9 over 15. Oops, no. Oh, this one is 9 over 15. This is 12 over 15. So that's equal to 4 over 5. Tangent of theta is equal to 9 over 12, so 3 over 4. C as C of theta is going to be opposite. It'll be 5 over 3. Secant of theta is equal to 5 over 4. Cotangent of theta equal to 4 over 3. Now, this is going to be on your SAT. Ratios, like trig ratio like this, you're going to be involved with this. So if I were you, I would go back to understand all this homework. If you did it wrong, then go back to try to understand it. I'm going to go to 17. Is that okay? 17 says, and 17 exactly we have yesterday, we have gone over something like this. So usually, remember where your delta is. Usually I put it on the bottom. Can it be on the top? Yes. Then your opposite and adjacent is going to be changed. I place on the bottom just because I easier to recognize things. So now what happened in 17, I'm going to have a opposite is 8 because they say sine of theta is equal to 8 over 17. Is that okay? So that's 8 right here, and that's 17 right here. What will be the third side? Is it 15? I don't know. 17 squared equal to 8 squared plus a squared. So you have to work it out. Ian, you don't have to work it out. I cannot give you credit. And I don't know. I'm going to assume that's 15. I don't know if it's right.
But it says cosine equal 15 over 17. They give it to you.
Oh, okay. They give it to you? So you don't have to look for it. But in case, just you can look for it. But they did give it to you that. So they just want other ratio. Well, you're already done. You can find out sine, cosine, tangent, cosine. You can just plug in the ratio. That's it. Next questions. So I want to make sure everybody know how to do something. So make sure that you can find cosecant of 23 degrees. Right now, see if you got it right. Make sure you use your calculator the right way. Make sure your setting is correct. How would you check with each other? Make sure they got a right answer. This is an easy part of AP exam. Learning how to use a calculator, learning how to use the things. And we're going to talk about one more thing. Make sure your calculator in the right setting, because the wrong setting, you're not going to get a right answer. Check with your friends, see what you get. Make sure they got the same thing. You say 2.5? So, did you change your degree? Is that what you get? 2.559? Okay. So we're going to talk about another situation that you might have. One of the situation that you might have is, so this today's lesson. Oh, any other homework from yesterday, question-wise? Katie, it'll be a good time to ask if you have questions. Jesus, good time to ask. 75, okay, it's fine. 75, it has a diagram. It has this. And this is a 125, 172, right? This is 75. Which trig ratio I will use, Jayla, for this particular triangle? Which trig ratio? That has this two sides. Good job. Tangent of theta is equal to what? Which is what? You almost got it wrong. Luckily I write too fast. Over what?
172.
Okay, so you're gonna evaluate this. Can you do that in your calculator? And can you tell me what that number is? 125 over 172. What is that number?
It's 0.012.
Give me one more digit, just in case. 6? Okay. So how you get... That seems like wrong.
Oh no.
No, it doesn't matter. I hear the ratio he got wrong because that seems like way too small. So just do 125 over 172, not tangent of something. You do tangent of something.
Oh.
So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to type in this. So what is this? 125 over 172.
0.726.
0.726. One more digit.
7.
7. Now you got this part. Is that okay? Now how do you get data? It's on yesterday's notes. How do you get data? Katie, how do I get data? Good. What is it? What? Say louder. What inverse? What inverse? It's not tangent -1. Read as a tangent inverse. So you're gonna have to do tangent inverse of tangent. Now this is gonna be tangent inverse of 0.7267. Now this, cross it out. Theta is equal to 10 inverse of 0.7267. Now try to do 10 inverse on your calculator. Guys, you gotta know how to use a calculator. That's the easiest point for you to get.
Do you have to solve the fraction first? Like,
No, you can do, but trying to teach kind of logic because later on they're gonna have build better.
36.005.
That's good. 36 point what?
005.
005. Now I'm gonna give you a new question. Can you do it? Okay, so let's just say if I have a triangle here, and this is 17, and this is a 5. I want you to find theta. Everybody find this theta. Everybody look for this theta. The simplest test question. You gotta get it right. I don't care about the hard question. The hard question you screw up, you screw up. Everybody screw up a hard question. I screw up the hard questions. But if you cannot get an easy question, you gotta make sure you get an easy question. This is the geometry class. This is not even trigonometry class. It's not even pre-calc. Right, let me mess up on your unit circle. Louis, you pass. The pass I didn't have back, only in iPad. Oh. Now you have 6 minutes. Charlotte, did you? You got it right the first time? Jada, did you get it? What'd you get?
17.803.
Is that right?
That's 72.8.
No, that's
What did you do wrong? Katie, did you get it right?
Oh, so you put
So something is wrong because Jada got 17 point something. Nathan, what'd you get?
because you have
72.95. Okay, good.
you
So
have adjacent.
let's try this.
Just cut.
So this is a 5, right? This is a 5. We're gonna say this is adjacent. Is that okay? Right, label it if you have questions. And this is hypotenuse. The only thing with adjacent hypotenuse is cosine. Cosine theta of 5 over 17. So theta is equal to, now get rid of cosine. I'm gonna do cosine inverse. Now, do I do this all the time? No, I just want to show you what would be the right way to do it. So cosine inverse of 5 over 17. I don't know what's that.
2.895.
72.85. How many of you guys got it wrong besides Katie and Jada? Only Katie and Jada? It's okay if you got it wrong. Right now, I'm just trying to help you. So I know can give you extra practice question. Jesus, did you get it wrong? No, you got it right? Okay, so for Jada and Katie, make sure you get this one right. You got this? So I have this one 7 and this one is 12 and theta's right on the top. Theta's on the top. If theta's on the top, you gotta label your size. Be carefully. Everybody got the same answer, please. If you got a wrong answer, it's okay. We're gonna do this over again. I have patience. I just don't want you guys to screw up the easy questions.
What number is the hypotenuse?
12. And this is the right angle. Here she's Gotta recognize where the angle is because opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse based on where the angle is. 90 degrees always facing hypotenuse. Katie, what'd you get? Charlotte, what'd you get? Jay, what'd you get? Okay, good. So remember, this becomes adjacent, right? It's still adjacent because it's next to the angle. This one is a hypotenuse. So that is going to be 7 over 12. Is that okay? And that's equal to which trig ratio? Cosine. And the theta is equal to cosine inverse of 7 over 12. So you can straight write like this. I just want you to see that thing cancel for now, but then you can actually do it one step faster. And I have no idea what is that. 50. Okay, 3 decimal place on AP exam. At least for calculus. I don't know what's pre-calculus. I don't give a shit. But I mean, if 3 decimal is good enough for calc, it should be good for pre-calc. All right. Is this okay? Make sure you understand your stuff. Now we're gonna go a little bit further. So we're gonna go into figure out what all the trig ratio if I have a single point. So let me say, I'm gonna say let P equal to -3, -5. I mean -3, -5. Sorry, -3, -5. Be a point on the terminal side. of data. Okay, find each of 6 trig ratio. I'll try. Okay, let p equal to -3, comma -5 be a point on the terminal side of data. Find each of the 6 trig ratio. So what does this mean? This means you draw a quadrant. Is that okay? You're gonna write down -3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're gonna do this. You're gonna draw something called reference triangle. Remember, reference triangle is always a butterfly facing north. So this is the bottom half of the wing. So it doesn't draw, it's draw like this. And if you say bottom half, this is called a reference triangle. The reference triangle has to be in this format, either this way, this way, this way. It looks like butterfly. Even one of the wing of the butterfly is good. Leah, write shit down. You're just zoning out after the picture. Do not draw your triangle like this. This is the wrong reference triangle. Make sure you know how to basic drawing a reference triangle. This is drawing a reference triangle. Ian, pay attention. Look up on the board. This is a point. This is a terminal side. This is a reference triangle. It has to look like a butterfly like this if you want to draw a side. Is that okay? Yes. This side is the terminal side. And this is your data. Now, once you have data like this, you're gonna say, well, the only thing different this than yesterday's homework is this one has negative signs. So this one's a -3 and this is a -5, I believe. So sign of this data is gonna be what? Well, you have to figure out what this side is. What is this side? No, you gotta use you cannot use calculator in this particular part. So -3 squared plus -5 squared equal to c squared. C is equal to 30.
It's c is equal to 6.
No. 34. C is equal to 34 because 25 plus 9 is 34. So this is 34. Now, make sure one thing. Hypotenuse, it doesn't matter which quadrant it is. It's always positive. So hypotenuse, write it down. It's always positive. There's no negative sign for hypotenuse. Only the x and y can be negative. So you gotta understand that. Okay. Lena, make sure you write down because later I'm gonna be like, I didn't tell you. I told you. I remember everything I say in class. Hypotenuse is always positive. That's the trickiest part. Okay? So then all you gotta do is write down this one's opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is what? -5 over root 34. Shall you rationalize? Yes, of course, because you're still in pre-calc. So that will be your answer. That's how you get all 6 trig ratio. Cosine theta is what? What's adjacent in this case? So it'll be -3 over -3 over root 34. So -3 over 34 over 34. And that's how you do it. Tangent theta is what? No, it's opposite over adjacent. SOHCAHTOA. So that is going to be root 5 over root 3. And that's equal to 5 over 3. And can you find cosecant? Yes. it's gonna be opposite of that, so it'll be square root 34 over 5. So I just flip this part without rationalize. So I will do a trick. So you can find out all other functions. So I'll give you a new terminal side. Let you decide all 6 sides, okay? So the new terminal side is gonna be -3, comma 2. Make sure you draw the correct reference angle. If you recognize those easy things, lay down the thing's gonna be a lot easier. Hypotenuse is always positive. Draw the correct reference triangle. Remember, it's not reference angle. This is called reference triangle. Reference triangle is always butterfly facing north. It's one of the wing. Draw it out. Find out 6 trig ratio. I have no idea what this is, but find out 6. Sometimes you got positive, sometimes you got negative, sometimes you need to rationalize. Those are basic math. Yes. Yep. Make sure your quadrant's on right quadrant. Which quadrant would this be? Good. Did you draw a reference triangle? That triangle has to be specific orientation. If you have the wrong orientation, that's bad. Because then you will get wrong side, wrong information. It's confusing. Draw it out. Finding all 6 trig ratio. Learning how to use Pythagorean identities. Simple things like that is going to help you SAT increase about 20 points. Now, that's only in mind is I just realized most of you guys need to take a blue book SAT. I take one last week. It's kind of fun. I teach a group of class of SAT class. That highest grade in there is 780. The lowest grade is 520. But why did she get 520? This is the problem. She wasn't paying attention on the module 1. She screwed up all the things. On the module 2, she only missed 3 questions. But she still get 520. Because module 1, if you don't emphasize your module 1, they have all the easiest questions. And if you screw up, she screwed up 12 questions on the module 1 out of 22. But even though second set of 22 questions, she got 19 out of 22. She still got 520. Because she said her brother was distracting her. She was not paying attention. Now, if you would choose not to pay attention, you would rather choose the other way. You rather choose miss up 3 questions on the first section and miss up 17 questions on the second question. Even you got the same question, your score is going to be 580 rather than 520 because you're going to have a harder test on the module 2. It's called adaptive. Does that make sense? So if you want a very, very sharp, if you have to eat like, I don't know, Adderall in the first section or whatever, I don't know. I'm not promoting drugs, but I'm just saying focus on the first section. If you had to go, you had to go. So you focus on the first section. You can miss same amount of question. If you just switch, your score is going to be 70 or 80 points lower. And that's why you guys need to practice on the blue book. You can see that analogy. Okay, you have to get used to that. You cannot mess up the first part. You allowed to mess up second part because they already give you a harder test. Your lower bar is already at 520. You can only go up on 520. Okay, so make sure you know that. Did you guys find all 6 trig ratios? Do you check with each other?
Because it says you look at the formula, it says what are you doing? So that's where this point is. And the one would be negative. Oh. Now you have to look at the negative, which is squared. So this would be 2 squared plus negative 3 squared.
Because then you have like five or two and do all this. Just gonna make it easier so that then you make it and then from what show always here like a little poke.
And then you just fill it for line. Opposite is this angle, which is 2, and that's obviously negative 3.
Then you have 2 over negative 3 because obviously and then I think you have to do 6. So
I'm gonna go over one more question just at the end. You gotta pay attention. So hopefully you got this. Did you guys get this? I'm not gonna do the cosecant and cotangent and secant, but I'm gonna go over one more questions. This last questions here is a little bit more tricky. So this is the most trickiest part of this today's homework. If I have a tangent of theta, it's equal to -2 over 3, and sine of theta is greater than 0. Can you find remaining trig ratio? Now the hardest part is deciding which quadrant. This question is kind of fun. For me, it's require a little bit thinking. Now I'm going to show you one way. To do it, you can be very easy, but you have to follow it specifically. If you follow it specifically, you can decide how you draw out those triangles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out this triangle, draw out the quadrants. I'm going to have a check system. Now, I'm going to start by recognize when's tangent negative. When is tangent negative? Which quadrant's tangent negative? Be careful you answer this question. Think about it before you answer it. When is tangent negative? Now, the best way to think about also is when is tangent positive. The other two quadrants is going to be tangent negative. What? Yeah, what quadrant's tangent negative? There was 2 of them. 2 and 4. So you're going to go a check, check. Why? Because you want to decide where is that final triangle is. When is a sine of theta greater than 0? Which quadrant sine of theta greater than 0? Good job, Ian. It's 1 and 2. Why? Because sine is what? Sine is y, right? This is a y, right? Y is greater than 0 only in this 2 quadrant. So guess what? You draw your reference triangle based on this part. After you get a 2-check system, you find out where they're at. Now you're going to get theta. Well, this is -2, 3. Which one's -2? The x or y? X. Negative what? This is -2 or -3? It's actually -3.
Because it's what?
Y over x. And this is actually positive. Does that make sense? That this negative sign, they floating. They do not only top and bottom. But the 2 and 3, you should write down 2 and 3 there. 2 and 3. But the 3 is going to be on the bottom to make that decision. Is that okay? Now you get that data. You guys say, okay, well, I can figure out trig ratio. This is going to be square root of 13, I think. Yes. How do I get triangle? I'm going to follow a check system. I'm going to say that again. Tangent is negative. Tangent is y over x. Y over x is composed of just putting it from x and y. But if you think about it, this is positive, positive. the tangent is going to be positive. Does that make sense? Because you got y over x, positive over positive. You got negative and negative. This is also positive for tangent. So that means the other two side is negative. Because you got one positive, negative, one negative, one positive, that causes the tangent negative. Is that okay? Now, I'm going to check on the sine theta is greater than 0. That means sine theta, if you think about sine theta, is y. When y is positive, it's only in top 2 quadrant. Boom, boom. Is that okay? The hardest part is draw out this triangle, not the 6 trig ratio. This part of the triangle, you draw it right. The 6 trig ratio is draw it right. Is this okay? Now, I'm going to go figure out this. I'm going to write down 2 and 3, and I'm going to write down 13. Now, this is positive, nothing to worry about. The negative sign is decided. It could be on the top or on the bottom. But since it's the left side, the x is negative. So then you can figure out 6 ratio. So for example, sine theta is equal to 2 over root 13 or 2 root 13 over 13. Cosine theta is what? Negative 3 over 13. So it'll be negative 3 root 13 over 13. Tangent theta is what? 2 over negative 2 over 3. We already have that. Cosecant theta is square root 13 over 2. You can figure out the rest of the information. If you don't understand, watch the video. Knowing this is a positive for x and y, really important. There's a negative for x and y. This is negative, this is positive, this is positive, this is negative. Because x and y is a cosine and sine. This is the hardest part of your homework, but draw a reference triangle. No, it's not simplified wrong. I say anything that's wrong is wrong. It's not exactly. I don't care. You gotta retake it again. No, I don't have to. Because I'm not gonna ask you sine of 8 pi over 6.
No, seriously. Can I retake the unit circle that much?
Yes, you can.
That chocolate cake.
No.
Oh, cake. What kind of cake?
Chocolate.
Oh, nice. It's a vegetarian, right?
What?
No pork inside.
No,
right?
no, I only put bacon in it.
You're trying to sabotage my life.
It's my first time making a cake, so don't laugh at me, but for Daniel's birthday.
Daniel's birthday? Well,
Yeah.
wait until Daniel here. Wait until Daniel here. Put in the refrigerator. Wait until
Does
Daniel.
that fit in there?
I don't know. If it fit. Would it be better to put in the refrigerator or leave it
Um,
outside?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Wait until Daniel's here. Daniel's at 7 here, but you're not gonna be at 7 here. But Daniel was gonna be here. Are you in B lunch?
Yeah.
Daniel will be here. We eat at lunch then.
Find a knife somewhere.
Yeah, that would have helped.
A knife.
Cindy can definitely do it. You can tell. She's a karate type. Huh? Huh.
I used a piece of paper to cut cake once. That was like